I know you guys asked kind of the majority of the questions of Coach Mullen, so I'll kind of let him answer some of those in individual if you have any other questions for him. But it's great to be back. It's great to be around the players again. It's great to have an opportunity to get out here with the fellows and get a chance. You had a chance to see them work out all summer. They did a great job. Coach Corner, strength coach, and his strength staff did a great job. His job is to hand deliver our players back to us for 2 days and get them ready, get them in condition, get them in the best of shape, and he did a great job doing that. So to get a chance to see the guys make the transformation from when they've arrived, some of these freshmen have had 10 to 15 pounds already. Their bodies have already changed, and now it's just an opportunity to get around them. And you know, as a coach, we go on vacation, and a well-needed vacation at the end of camp in June. But at the same time, after a couple weeks, I think any coach out there is probably doing the same thing. They start itching, they start scratching, they want to get back around their players. And when we got a chance to get back now, we're around them. We're our family. You know, I think you take a look at the gloves that the players are wearing. They say family on them, and that really does reflect what kind of program coach has built here and how we coach our players. We talk about having great energy, and so far in the first couple practices, there's been great energy. A couple young guys have got a little tussle out there. I saw Harrison Moon out there going one-on-one with a little battle out there. But you know, understand, we want to try to build that toughness and have that energy, and that's what you're looking for with a young group of guys when they come in here. We talk about preparing our guys right now. I heard Coach Mullen. I had a chance to sit here and catch some of his, but preparing the young guys, depth-wise, camp for us is going to be critical right now. Preparing for depth for that reason is you take a look at what we did last year. You look at the NFL draft and the free agencies that we lost from last year's team. We had a ton of guys on that team right now that are in NFL camps right now. So somebody's got to step up on the offensive side for us, come out and be able to replace that guy. Whatever reps Josh delivered to us last year, we got to have a couple of, you heard Coach talk, we got 4 other running backs right now that got to take that load and kind of redistribute that area. Program identity, I know Coach always touches on, is relentless effort. I think that's something that we've been stressing to our players from day one. As soon as we walk out there on the field, to give relentless effort, continue to develop. And it's our job as position coaches, it's our job as coordinators and coaches on this team to make sure that we're giving everything we've got to our players to develop and maximize our players' potential. Put them in the best position so they can make plays, but it's our job to get out there and make sure that they're working fundamentally to improve. And one of the things we've talked about within my position group, with the receivers specifically, is continue to do what we did last year. And what I mean by that is we led the SEC conference, the SEC. We led the SEC last year in plus plays of 20 yards. We also led the SEC in plus plays of 10 yards. And that's something we talk about as far as contributing points, contributing to getting first downs, playing to win. And that means playing great defense. So if we can continue to do that, we'll put points up on the board. But within my specific position room, we talk about making 5 big plays. And for us, 5 big plays a game is to have 20 yards or more on a play. And for us, if we can help a running back on the perimeter blocking to get that 20-yard play, that goes down as one of those 5 for us. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be around the players, like I said. So far, their attitude's been fantastic, and the guys are looking good. So at that point, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer some.
If you have questions, we'll get a mic to you.
Any questions? If not, I'm perfect as well.
Billy, how do you see a guy like Donald Gray, who has special teams ability as well as wide receiving ability? What do you see from him? How do you plan to use him this year?
Well, the first and foremost with Donald is we got to continue to develop him. And when I say develop, that means develop off the field equally as well and on the field. But you always start, whenever you get a new player, no matter if it's a junior college kid or a freshman coming in, you always want to make sure that it's small steps. It's small steps to make sure that, one, class attendance is great. Make sure they're doing a great job academically. 2, make sure that they've done a great job in the weight room. Those are the things that will transition to start you off. And then once you get him on the football field, now he's got raw ability. He's got raw talent. He's got all the intangibles that you want. He's got great speed. He does got great speed. He's got great make you miss. And that's just in the first couple of days of practice. So from this point on, it's really about how hard he continues to work And you want to make sure you feed him by levels. You got to make sure you don't give him too much, but he's got to continue to learn. But athletically, he's got all the intangibles. But at the same time, we've got more than one player that has those intangibles. So he's got to continue to work. You got to continue to get better and to make improvements. And if he can do that, then hopefully he'll have an opportunity to help us. But he does show those signs where he can be a difference maker. We had a practice yesterday, and he had an 80-yard plus touchdown in 7-on-7, but came back and we dropped a 6-yard hitch. So those are the things that we're looking about. We're trying to make sure that our players are improving in all facets. So, but Donald's definitely going to be a guy that if he continues to work, he'll have an opportunity to help us.
This is a draft eligible year for Duronia. What progressions does he need to make over the next few months to get to where he wants to be?
I had to talk with Duronia about that earlier during spring, a little bit this summer. And we've, not just him, but I've talked with Fred Brown, Fred Ross, the players that are draft eligible. You talk about just developing their fundamentals, and when you have a chance to talk to them, it's based on, well, coach, I'm not going anywhere unless I'm ready. And first and foremost, coach, for me, the most important thing, his answer was awesome. Coach, I want to win. I want to be developed. My job, I came here to come to school. I came here to get better. I'm not as advanced as a receiver that's played his entire life. I only played 1 year in high school coming up. So he understands where he's at right now, and he's got a great mindset. His only objective right now is to get better day by day. And if he continues to get better day by day, again, performance on the football field is ultimately the biggest thing for an NFL team. If that were to be something that comes about, they're the ones that will come back and they'll visit with Coach Mullen about that. But from my standpoint, we got a lot more developing to do continually to get him better, to make sure that he's one of the best receivers in the SEC conference. SEC, excuse me, I keep saying SEC conference.
I know it's early, Coach, and it's so hard to tell with the true freshman out of here, just a few days with them, but talking to a lot of veterans, one name keeps coming up, and he's in your group, Keith Mixon. Talk about, I know it's hard to judge him now, but what does a guy like that bring to the table with his future?
Keith's explosive. I saw there was a video yesterday. I think there were some vines out. I think one of the production teams put out some video of our one-on-one blocks. And it's really great to get a chance to see your young guys. I don't need to see Gabe. I don't need to see Fred Ross. Those guys do an individual drill where it's one-on-one blocking. I've seen them over the last 3 years get an opportunity to do that. So the first day you go out there, you always want to have a chance to see your freshmen. Put your freshmen out there, see how they handle it, because this is the first time to strap the helmet on, put the pads on, and be in a one-on-one situation. And he rocked off that ball so quick. He came off, shot his hands inside. He always looked. I always want to try to judge a receiver when he's on contact, if he's turning his head. If you got a guy that turns his head, it's going to be a while in the development process. But if you have a guy that's ready to come at you right now, and he hits you straight right between the pad level right there, eyes up underneath the chin, that's what you're looking for, straight down. And I can demonstrate if somebody wants to come up and show you. But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guy that's got toughness. I don't care about anything else right now. Give me a guy that's got great toughness and great work ethic. We can develop the rest. We've seen there's a reason why he's here. That's our job to develop him. But from that standpoint, he's got those two things. Now, the learning part, the part that takes time for a freshman, because everything's so fast right now. We're putting 7 days, 8 days of installation in. You're learning it quick. They practice one day, the next day it's a new installation. But from that standpoint, he's got the quickness, he's got the toughness, and that's what I'm looking for.
How important in the spring was it to get those 3 guys in here for you and kind of work with their development?
It's been awesome. You take a look, and the 3 guys you're talking about are Malik Dare, Dedrick Thomas, and Donald Gray. All 3 of those guys, from my standpoint, when we went out on the practice field the other day to start looking at repetitions. And what you do is you break down repetitions, and I'm going to rotate my guys. I think it's a great opportunity. We teach our players here in our offensive scheme is you got to learn your formations, you got to learn your concepts. And once you learn your formations and concepts, things get really easy. The other parts, it's really easy. So what you can do is you can change guys and flip guys around in multiple positions. And Donald was a guy that, again, played a little bit of both, flipped a little bit in spring. Malik specifically stayed at the H position, but Dedrick played all 3. So what it gave them is an opportunity to be a little bit further ahead. Or you go out there right now, there's a confidence level with those players. Anytime you can get a player in, the confidence level skyrockets because now he's not learning. He's not out there with a group of guys. He's got a bunch of juniors and seniors looking at him right now, worried about am I lining up in the right position in my formation? And you can see some of the young guys are running around trying to get set. Am I set? And they're looking. Those guys, it's been great by getting those guys early, and it's allowed me to have depth at my unit, and I'm fired up at the receiver position right now. I think I've got a lot of depth, probably more than I've ever had anywhere I've ever been, and so we got to continue that. Now our goal is to continue to maximize their potential to get them where they need to go. But those three guys coming in early, it's helped a ton.
Coach, you mentioned Durunya earlier. What has it been like watching him make these big jumps year to year because he is so football young? And does he have another big leap in him, or is it more now about fine-tuning?
I think he's still got a lot of room to improve, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a coach, but I think he's got a lot of improvement. And here's the thing, Durunya has made a lot of plays for us, and when you got a guy that makes those big plays, and he has made those big plays for us, you've got something special. So we've got a chance to work with that. Then what you do is now it's to really take it to the next level and be elite. It's got to be the little things. The big things, that big one-handed grab out there where you go up here, that's God-given talent. I'm not coaching that right now. That's him being that athlete. Now we've got to really focus on the little things. He's been given the tools. Now it's what kind of release work am I working? Do I got a guy that's press on me right now? Well, we've got multiple different types of releases we're going to use. Now for him to make that next step is to come up to the line of scrimmage and already have a mindset. I already know how I'm going to work this player. I've watched him on film. I've seen how he plays. It's no different than we're going against two great corners that are on our side. I should say we've got more than that, but I'm just talking about the upperclassmen and Tevez and Will. That's how you get better. You get better by going against the best. And in my opinion, those are two of the best players in the SEC. And if he can continue to develop the little things, that will extend his game to hopefully continue to grow.
Billy, how do Durunya and Fred complement each other? Fred Ross from that starting unit.
Well, I think there's a couple other guys I'd probably say that I would not leave out within that unit for sure. Gabe and Fred Brown, I think. But when you start talking about an offensive system and how we run, when you're a 3-by-1 situation, if you're in a 3-by-1 set, which we are a lot, whether it's 2-by-2, 3-by-1, but if you're in a 3-by-1 set, it's really easy. It's really easy to take one receiver out the game. And if you don't have somebody on the other side to complement them as an inside receiver, it's easy to take that outside guy. You can play cover 2 and bracket him and take him out of the game. Or that next thing you got to do is you got to move him around. Say you got to be able to move and put a tight end and go 3 receivers to the field. Now you have an opportunity. But ultimately, everything works on the same basis. You've got to have guys that you trust, and if you got guys that you trust that can make plays, big plays down the field, just the same as the other guy, then you got a chance. And I think Fred compliments Durunya a ton. I think having him on one side and having Bear on the other side, and like I said, at that other position right now, I've been rotating Fred Brown and Joe Moore at that other position. They've been rotating daily. And Gabe Miles is another guy. I think, again, we're deep. And being able to have guys with multiple skill sets, that really helps. Are you going to defend the bubble? Are you going to defend the streak? Are you going to defend the comeback? And again, like I said, those guys are developing. Everybody's different. Bear's different than Fred. Fred's different than Gabe. So, but they complement each other definitely.
I was talking to Gabe a couple of days ago, and he said if this was a basketball team, he would be considered a point guard because he assisted a lot of guys last year. He said he could get close to the end zone and somebody else would take it over. People kind of forget how he stepped in for Tubby when he went down. What have you seen different from Gabe this year?
He had a great offseason. He came back, I think he came back reported, at around 192 pounds, between 92 and 195, rocked up, solid, strong. Gabe's extremely smart. And the one thing that Gabe has is he's got probably one of the quickest first steps out of the receiver group right now. If you were to line them up 0 to 5, Gabe on film definitely is probably one of the quickest, but he's got a great work ethic. And going back to, when I talked about mixing, is if a player has great work ethic, and if he's a hard-nosed, tough kid, then you've got something, a chance to mold into. Gabe knows, we laugh around a little bit, we got to get him in the end zone. He came close, and there's a couple things that if another guy would have made a block, he might have probably got in the end zone. But his work ethic is really what separates him apart, his knowledge of the game. And again, like I said, he's a guy that's, if you look at Gabe, and hopefully you guys will have a chance to interview him and talk to him throughout the season, but he's always got a smile on his face. You love that about a guy that's going to come to work. When he comes to the office, when you guys come, no different from you guys, he comes in, he's got a smile on his face, he's ready to work. And you got to love that about him. But he's another guy that, like I said, he's got all the tools. We got to refine some things. He's got to improve. He's still, again, making that transition from an offensive quarterback to a DB to a receiver. Last year was his first year as a receiver, so we're continuing to grow with that. Any other questions?